Welcome friends, let us start solving this particular LR. It says that Bombay airport has only one flight departing at every 1.5 hours each day. Okay, maybe this was a very old time that they had thought of while writing this particular LR set, because today or nowadays this is not not the case at all. Okay, so there is one flight departing at every 1.5 hours each day. Fine. The last flight is for Singapore at 7:30 p.m. Okay, flight for Japan is exactly at 12 hours and it is the third flight. Fine. The maximum time gap between consecutive flights is between that for Singapore and Pakistan. Okay, flight for France is the fifth flight and is followed by Canada. Time gap between France and Nepal is same as that between Australia and Korea. And then they have given us 4 of these questions. Okay, fine. So let us start solving it. Okay, not a very tough one. Let us see. Okay, I don't think it is that tough. So it says that Bombay airport has one flight departing at every 1.5 hours. So every 1.5 hours one flight will depart, and they have said the last flight is for Singapore at 7:30 p.m. Sorry friends if you can't read at the corner, just have a look at it. Okay, the last flight is for Singapore at 7:30 p.m. So this is the last flight and that is at 7:30 p.m. and that flight is for Singapore. Okay, fine. So if that is the last flight of the day and we have been given the time, you can just keep on subtracting 1.5 hours and keep on getting the timings of the earlier flights. Like 1.5 hours before 7:30 p.m. is 6 p.m. So there must be some flight at 6 p.m. 1.5 hours before 6 p.m. is 4:30 p.m. There must be one flight at this timing. Similarly 3 p.m. 1.5 hours before 3 p.m. is 1:30 p.m. Then it is 12 noon. Okay, then 1.5 hours before that is 10:30 a.m. It will be a.m. in the morning, and 1.5 hours before that will be 9 a.m. right, and 1.5 hours before that will be, sorry I have just taken up the space, 7:30. Okay, and before that will be 6 a.m. So let us do till 6 a.m. and see what is given. Okay, if there are more then we will again do it. 1.5 hours before 6 a.m. is 4:30 a.m. Like that. Okay, let us see. So the last flight is for Singapore. Flight for Japan is exactly at 12 hours. So this 12 noon is the flight for Japan. Okay, fine. And it is the third flight. So this is the third flight. Okay, means the second flight is this, the first flight is this. So okay, we have drawn exactly in the right way, no need of this spacings, this timings, because the first flight is at 9 a.m. right. If this is the third flight, so second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, there are 8 flights only from Bombay airport. I don't know in which year have they thought of this LR. Okay, so this is the case. Fine. Flight for Japan is, and it is a third flight. The maximum time gap between 2 consecutive flights is between that for Singapore and Pakistan. Now maximum time gap, when can it happen? The maximum time gap for any consecutive flights, when can that happen? That can happen between this last flight and the first flight. Here there will be the maximum time gap, because if you take any other time, let us say between 6 and 10:30 or 6 and 9, that time distance will be less than the time gap between 7:30 p.m. and 9 a.m. This is the largest time gap that you can have, the first flight and the last flight. So this is the largest time gap. So the maximum time gap between 2 consecutive flights is that of Singapore and Pakistan. So that tells us that Pakistan flight should be at 9 a.m. or the first flight of the day. If that is the case, then the time gap between these 2 flights, Pakistan and Singapore, will be the largest time gap, right? Because if I place Pakistan anywhere in between like 10:30, 1:30 or anywhere, that time gap will not be maximum. The maximum will be if I put Pakistan as the first flight of the day. Okay, sorry friends for my handwriting if it is too short, if it is too thin. The main idea is to just solve it and let you know how to do such kind of questions. Okay, please bear with me, I'm extremely sorry. Okay. Okay, fine, till here we have solved. Then it says flight for France is the 5th flight. So which is the 5th flight? Means at 3 o'clock, huh? So this is the flight for France. France is at 3 o'clock, is a 5th flight, and is followed by Canada. So the 6th flight at 4:30 is for Canada. Fine. Time gap between France and Nepal is the same as that between Australia and Korea. Time gap between France and Nepal is the same between Australia and Korea. So we have 1, 2, 3 slots, and they are saying time gap between France and Nepal is the same as that of Australia. I'm writing AUS and Korea. Okay. So where can I put Nepal and then Australia and Korea? Time gap between these two and these two should be same. So okay, suppose I put Nepal over here at 10:30. So if I put Nepal at 10:30, so then 1, 2, 3, after 3 flights is France, if I put Nepal at 10:30. So similarly, will this also be the same case, 3 flights time gap? If I put suppose and Australia and Korea, in which order, that I don't know. So I can put either Australia over here or Korea over here. So if I put Australia, so 1, 2, 3, yes, exactly after 3 flights will be the Korean flight, right? So I can put Nepal over here and Australia and Korea in anywhere here. Is that the only arrangement I can do, or is there any more arrangement? Let us see. So I have tried putting Nepal over here, and I have got that 1, 2, 3 is Nepal, yes, is the same as if I put Australia over there or Korea over there. Similarly 1, 2, 3 flights. So this place works perfect for Nepal. Let me see if there are any more places over here. If I put Nepal, no, because then the France flight will be exactly the next flight, but Australia and Korea will be separated by many flights in between. So this place for Nepal won't work. What about this place, 6 o'clock? If I put Nepal at 6 o'clock, it will be 2 flights, right? After 2 flights. Okay, France and Nepal means after 2 flights will be the Nepal flight. Similarly, Australia and Korea, if I put any one over here, the second flight will be the Australian or the Korean flight. So there are 2 options where I can put this Nepal flight. I can put either over here or over here. In both the cases it will work. So in one case I am putting over here, and in the other case I will write it over here. Please bear with my handwriting, I am extremely sorry for giving you trouble. So I can put Nepal over here. In that case 1, 2, 3, the third flight will be France. And in case, and now Australia and Korea, I can put it in any order, right? So it can be Australia or Korea. So let me say this is Australia. If this is Australia, this can be Korea. See, 1, 2, 3 flights. Okay, so from Nepal 1, 2, 3 is the French flight, and from Australia 1, 2, 3 is the Korean flight. So it works fine. Similarly, I can put Nepal at 6 o'clock or the 7th flight. So from France it is the second flight. From France, first flight, second flight. And similarly, Australia and Korea I can put anywhere over here. Australia I can put it over here, and Korea will be the 1:30 flight. Okay, so 1, 2. Fine. The time gap between Australia and Korea is the same as between France and Nepal, right? Okay, so let me put here France so that it's okay. Please, I'm very sorry, extremely sorry for my handwriting. Okay, so let us now start solving this LR set, because all the information we have beautifully put it up. Fine. First flight is for Pakistan, option number 2. If the second last flight is for Nepal, okay, they are considering this arrangement. Okay, if the second last flight is Nepal, then The flight for Australia is then the flight for Australia is now see, I have written Australia over here and Korea as the fourth flight, but they can be put it in any order, right? Instead of Australia I can write it here Korea and I can put it here Australia. So really which particular position this Australia and Korea should be there, that I don't know, but I know that in the second and in the fourth place there will be Australia and Korea, but which one is Australia, which one is Korea, that I don't know. Maybe this is Korea, this is Australia, or maybe this is Australia, this is Korea. So they can be any one of the second and the fourth positions. If seventh is Nepal, second and fourth position can be Australia. Okay, so the particular position of Australia is not known, but it can be either second or fourth. So yes, option number 3, because you really don't know the order in which they are there. Maybe this is Australia, this is Korea, or maybe this is Korea, this is Australia. So in any order they can be fine, second or fourth. If the flight for Nepal is at 10:30, okay, they are considering this case now, this arrangement. So okay, fine. Flight for Korea could be at, so if this is Nepal where we have put Australia and Korea, we have put it at 1:30 and 6 o'clock. Any one of them can be any one of the two countries. At 1:30 it can be Korea, or at 1:30 it can be Australia. Similarly at 6 o'clock it can be Australia or Korea. So let us see the options. Okay, they have given particular timing. So if Nepal flight is at 10:30, flight for Korea could be at 9 o'clock. No, 1:30 p.m. Where is 1:30 p.m.? Yes, because I have written here Australia, but it can be Korea also. So if yeah, this can be Korea, and then 6 o'clock will be Australia in that case. So yes, 1:30 p.m. works fine. 4:30, no, 4:30 is Canada. 3 o'clock is France. So yeah, so 1:30 will be the option, because I have written here Australia, but Australia and Korea, they can be in any order. We don't know which is the particular order for them, but we know 1:30 and 6 is for either Australia or Korea. Fine. Then the last question, flight for Australia is definitely after. Flight for Australia, okay, again related to Australia and Korea. So let me see. Flight for oh no, sorry, I have read the question wrong. Flight for France is definitely after. Sorry. Flight for France is definitely after. France is at 3 o'clock. So flight for France is definitely after Australia. No, in this, see, it is not definitely after Australia, because suppose I put Nepal over here, then Australia, I have put it over here, but I can put Australia in place of Korea, and in place of Australia I can put Korea. So it will be here Korea, it can be here Australia. So in that case the Australian flight is after French flight. So you can't say flight for France is definitely after Australia. If I put Australia over here, then it is before Australia. So no, it is not definitely after Australia. Korea, no, similar logic you can apply, and moreover you can actually see in this particular arrangement that France flight is before Korea. Nepal, no, is definitely after Nepal. No, because if you look in this particular case, the French flight is leaving before Nepal, if you consider this arrangement, this particular arrangement. So yes, you can't say, because I can make the case such that each one of them is after France, not before France. Australia flight can be after France, Korean flight can be after France, even Nepal flight can be after France. So you can't say. Yeah, so these are the 4 questions that we have solved. Please have a look at it as how I have solved it, and hope that my explanation was true to you and you liked it. And I again apologize for my handwriting. Actually this is my normal handwriting. I write very thin letters and very I can't write it in huge handwriting, but I will take care of it. I will improve my handwriting so that it is legible to you and you can understand it. Hope it was not that bad in this particular case and my handwriting. So thank you, and yeah, take care, have a nice day.